So I'm actually going to take you through this video, which is a walkthrough, if you like, of a CRASH magazine, which is from June 1989. So if you had a Spectrum at that sort of time, then this is a magazine that you may have had. So there's a few little things on it: Red Heat, exclusive, Forgotten Worlds. I think at this sort of time, I think I was probably on the Amiga, I believe. And it's the time where CRASH magazine were giving you a cover disc, a cover cassette with every single issue. So there's a few different games there. So they've previewed it: Zybots, License to Kill, Crazy Cars 2, Jaws, Silkworm, Gemini Wing. A lot of these I remember from the Amiga and not so much the Spectrum. So let's go on to the first page. And there was always a really good double page advert for a compilation or something like that, or the games that were hot at the time. So you got Dragon Ninja, Robocop, which I used to love. Even the Spectrum version of Robocop was brilliant. Everything about Robocop, the film, the poster. I think I had the poster up in my bedroom at the time. I loved everything about Robocop. I was fascinated and a bit obsessed by Robocop at the time. Then you've got Batman, which was particularly good on the Amiga, but on the Spectrum it was still good. This is the sort of time where on the Spectrum the games were getting better and better in terms of the graphics, because they had to try and keep up with like the Atari ST and the Amiga. Whenever you opened up a magazine, it was always the Atari ST screenshot or the Amiga screenshot. And I know that anybody who had a Spectrum really wished that they were playing the game with them sort of graphics. Some of those on Dragon Ninja, I'll zoom in on them. Some of the other games there, they look like they're from arcade machines. That was the sort of graphics you got on Robocop, Batman, and WEC Lawnmower. I'm not sure if it was one of the better games in terms of driving games, but I do definitely remember those. Definitely remember Batman and Robocop. And then on the next page, we're going to have a quick look at some of the software that you would have. So there's some compilation discs there that were available, and the sort of games that were out at that particular time. So if you bought yourself one of these the retro Spectrums, there might be some games there that you've maybe forgotten about. You think, oh yeah, I remember that. So maybe you want to get onto a website and download the game, and then upload it to your Spectrum. The shape of things thrills to come, which was just an intro. So that's what they're going to be covering. 3D pool. I don't think it's the same 3D pool that I used to play on the Spectrum from a company called CDS. I always had like a little editorial. Cresta, Micronaut 1. Utility things there. There was always like a little advert for a game that was, you know, made by somebody who was just making the game at home and decided to sell, or a smaller software house. Always like football or football manager type games for football geeks, if you like. Super Trucks by Elite. It's not one I remember. Free bar of Yorkie. Do you think I could get away with using that now? Anyway. Super Trucks. It's not a game I remember though. I think once they'd finished with the car driving games, that's not a Spectrum screenshot. That's the Spectrum, you can tell. But that's not far behind. That must be like Amstrad. I was going to say Commodore 64. I reckon if I chopped that off, I could probably use that. I'm not going to try, obviously, but there's no date that says that I can't get a free Yorkie off someone. And then we're into previews. So License to Thrill. Don't know what that is. That looks like it's from Crazy Cars. Nightbreed. So when I first got my Amiga, I actually bought the Nightbreed pack. So that the fact that Nightbreed's there kind of tells you that at this sort of time, I was probably playing with the Amiga and the Spectrum was just gathering dust by then. It's quite a colourful game. I can't remember that one. What's that one? There's a couple of reviews. One was for a game called Forgotten Worlds, which had some really good art on the adverts. I think you were like suspended in air, going around shooting things as per usual. 90%. And Red Heat. I do remember Red Heat. I think everybody does. Everybody's into Arnold Schwarzenegger films and games at the time. Super Dragon Slayer. Again, not one to remember. Navy Moves. I remember that just because of the adverts. I think the adverts back in the day were brilliant. They had to make the game sell, so the artwork was fantastic. There's a screenshot from Navy Moves. got a decent score. Chucky Yeager's AFT, which was a flight game. Mike Reed's Pop Quiz. No, not a fantastic review, I don't think. They're basically saying that if you're interested in that, then buy Question of Sport. Oh, there was always a magazine. Sorry, there was always a poster in Crash. So that's the poster of the month, if you like. If you wanted to give yourself nightmares as a kid, you would have put that on your wall. Looks like something out of Stranger Things. Before its time, wasn't it? And then again, another software advert. So that gives you an idea of some of the sort of games that were probably out at the time. Some of the hardware there: joysticks, Konix, a cheater, quick shots, Renegade. Xenon, fantastic game. Brings back some memories looking at some of those. Paperboy. Bomb Jack. Used to love Bomb Jack. That's a good compilation. Bomb Jack, Airwolf, Frank Bruno's Boxing and Commando. Amazing games there. And then you've got like a budget section because everything was getting re-released at this sort of time, and they had to keep the price really low on certain games because that was the difference. The Amiga and the Atari ST were out, so it became a price thing. The Amiga games weren't cheap, so to get Spectrum games sold, it was a case of they had to be good value. There's another iconic advert, again from Ocean. Really good at making really brilliant, colourful posters of stuff that was about at the time. Rastan, Slot Fight, Renegade, Arkanoid, Flying Shark, Arkanoid 2, Bubble Bobble. What a fantastic game. That's a fantastic compilation, that. Combat School. Target Renegade. I remember having Target Renegade, Platoon and Predator, all as big box. Kind of wish I still had them. You've got Coin Op, Tato Coin Op Hits, Arkanoid, Bubble Bubble, Renegade. There's some product placement for you. Amstrad advertising and Amstrad. Looks like it's a sporting compilation. Super Hang-On, I remember playing that. Match Day 2. Don't remember the others. that advert brings back so many memories. That could be a poster, and somebody would be happy with that. Then you got the playing tips pages. So this is where people used to, what was it, when they used to send in how to play particular games and give maps and things. That's a map of Rex from Martech, yeah, who I've never heard of. Cheat codes. Whenever there was a game out, there was always somebody who was trying to find a way to cheat it. Having joysticks that used to have auto fire and all the rest of it. It's a power play crystal. Okay, there's a headline for you. It's a power play. I can remember, and in fact I've only just got rid of it. I used to have a power play cruiser like this. I think this was green. It had a pink stick and it had yellow buttons. So that's some joysticks that were available by Power Play at the time. And then again, a couple of adverts for hardware. Video Vault, you could always guarantee Video Vault were always going to have some sort of advert. They were like probably the guys to go to back in the 80s if you needed your computer repairing. And I actually sent my 48, did I send my 16K Spectrum, I think it was, to be upgraded to 48K by these guys. And you would send the computer away, and then it's not like nowadays where one day later it's back with you. It's like 14, 28 days later, they would send you your computer back repaired. How to get your 48K Spectrum repaired for only $19.95. Customer waiting to be fed up, waiting for weeks. I think they also did a service afterwards later on. I can't remember. In fact, not later on, earlier, where they would upgrade your 48K rubber keyed Spectrum, and they would put it in a Spectrum Plus case. So they'd put it in the hard case, so it would look like a Spectrum Plus, which is exactly what that thing is there. And I always wanted to have that done, but I never did. Romantic Robot. Now, the Romantic Robot, they used to sell, it's a little interface that used to stick in the back of the Spectrum, and it used to then find cheats, and you used to be able to do all sorts of stuff like take screenshots, and that's at a time where they were maybe getting into maybe a little bit of trouble because of that. Because of possible implications of the coming new Copyright Act, the multi-face may soon be no longer sold in the UK. Last chance to buy one. So Genie, I remember the Genie. Never had one, but I remember the name. And then they used to have a Jetman from Imagine, a little comic strip. Some letters. Dear Lloyd, I'm 12 years old. In my English lesson in school, my teacher asked us to write a letter to a pop star or well-known personality, but I couldn't think, so I decided to write one to you. I like you. I think the Spectrum is still a top-class computer. I must do, otherwise I wouldn't spend almost 2 hours a night playing on it. But there are better ones now. In this time, the Spectrum was the best, but now 16-bit is flooding the market. I think Spectrum days are numbered. Christopher Pritchard in Weath, West Glamorgan. You called it, Chris. Again, another. So again, if you've got the new Spectrum, you recognise any of the games on there, and you feel like, oh yeah, that brings back a memory, that brings back a memory. Get it downloaded. Wave the Exploding Fist. R-Type. Platoon. I had that as big box as well for the Spectrum. I was never very good at it, but I had it. Classifieds and for sale. PC Engine. How dare they put a PC Engine advert in a Spectrum magazine? Little user groups, subscription, again, computer repairs. And then at this time you can actually buy software from Crash themselves. Putting down which ones you wanted. I don't know if it was certain games or what. Yeah, big US Gold, Activision, EA, so they were actually selling games themselves with Crash as kind of a mail order thing. Crash binders, Crash cap. I had a Crash t-shirt when I was a kid. Used to wear it for PE. I bet that'd be worth quite a lot now. It might smell a bit. Joystick interfaces. Joysticks. Cornix Mega Blaster. And you can get it all ordered and get it on there. And we used to have like a competition. Dial the hotline competition line and be in chance to win yourself a Crazy Cars 250 games by Titus. They had some, the graphics on those were really good on Crazy Cars. And then you've got an advert for Emily Hughes International Soccer. Emily Hughes, big Liverpool player. Again, can't remember the game, but then, like I said before, Schwarzenegger was all over the place. Any film that he made was licensed. So Red Heat. Is it John Belushi or James Belushi? I can't remember. One of them two. I'm sure it's James. That's a weird advert. Because you can only see the screenshots. The graphics look good there though, don't they? That's not for a Spectrum though. My guess is probably Amiga, no, or maybe Atari ST. So there we go, that's the walkthrough, if you like, and a little commentary for Crash Magazine, number 65, June 1989. Hope that brings back some memories.